Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another session. Today we are going to talk about OB, FC and FP. What are these and how we can actually use them? So FC and FP are used as a subroutine. The main function of these two are actually to divide the whole program into small parts so that it's easy for the programmer later on to see and troubleshoot if any issue is there. At unorganized home and organized home, which one is better according to you? Definitely you will say organized home. If in the organized home, if you want to see something, you can easily find. Whereas in unorganized home, it's very difficult to find something. Same is the case in programming. If you program everything well organized, then it is going to be very easy for someone who is troubleshooting later on to kind of troubleshoot any issue in there. For better organizing the PLC programming in Siemens,
we use FC, FP and OB concepts.
Now, next thing is, you might be thinking what are the differences between actually FC and FP. So here is the difference between these two. First thing, FP uses instance DB or DB for its inputs and output, whereas FC is not using that. FC is using addresses instead of that. Now we are going towards the programming part of today's class, and these concepts will be very much clear to you because we are going to have a look at each and everything here.
So now we are going to program first FC and then we will talk about FP, and then you will see yourself what we talk in theory and what we are doing in practical, so it will make the picture very much clear for you. So starting with FC, so insert object, and here is the function. So if you will select that, now it's asking you which language you want. For sure we want ladder, so I will select ladder and click OK. That's done now. Then the next step is, once you're done with that, just double click on FC. First we will program FC and then FP, and DB's concept will be in FP, so stay connected. Come here. Now we are already here, so first thing is to define inputs. Now we are making a function code for AND operation. So in1, input 1, input 2, okay, and output we have only one output. So we are making in1 and in2 as the AND in two inputs, and output will be out. Okay, so we are done with that defining stuff. Now next thing is to write in a code. So what we will do, we will just come here and start I0, sorry, not I0, what is it right? in1, and after that we want in1 and in2 in AND operation. So we have already talked before. If we want them in if you put them in parallel, that is actually OR operation. If you put them in series, that is AND operation. So we are putting them in series. And now what is our output? Output is right here, and that is out, right? So we have already FC ready. Just save it and you can close it now. Now if you will call that OB, if you will open up OB, we can use that FC from there. So what we will do, we will go to the FC and click here. You got your in1 and in2 and you got output. Okay, so I0.0, I0.1 and Q0.0. This is a simple example, but you may have thousands of rungs and networks in that program. It's possible, like you can create FC with thousands of network. So you are actually defining your program in a way like you're customizing it very well, or you're utilizing or organizing it very well so that it's very easy to read. Like for example, you have motor, you make one block for that. You have some process. For certain process, like for a level control, you want to make one FC. Go ahead, make it, and it will do one thing. It is gonna make your program very easy for reader to understand that, right? Hopefully that's clear. This example is very basic, just to give you understanding. Later on we will talk about programming, how to program motor block, and we have studied analog scaling block, right? What is the formula in that side, that particular function block? That's we are gonna make it by ourselves in the next session. So that one is very clear, right? So move ahead now. What we will do, we will go to the program here and we will try to download. Make sure to download both OB and FC1, because if you are gonna download only one, it will not work. So we have downloaded it. Now you can go to that FC1 and see that. First run it and then go to, if we haven't downloaded it, fine, it will not be downloaded because it's running, so just stop it and run it now. After that, try to open it up, this watch sign. You have already downloaded both, and now when you will run it, see, both are currently 0. So if we have one input, we don't have output because and need to have both inputs high to get an output. So if I click second input here, I0.1, that is gonna make our output true. So that is the FC. Now we are going to utilize another code that is gonna be in FP, and we are gonna make code for power operation in there. Now we are going to make FP block here. Insert new object, select function block, choose your language. I have already selected ladder long language. If you want STL, FPGA, graph language, it's all up to you, and click OK. Now you have FB1 already here. So the next step is going to be to define inputs and outputs as we have defined in FC. Same way out here we have to define inputs and outputs. So in 1, in 2, okay, and out, only out, you have to define here, and we are making this FB for power operation, and here we go. Go ahead, bit logic, select it out. We want to have in parallel, so we have to select here, move this branch down, take another input and make it up from here. Now our architecture, our network is ready. Just put N1 and N2, and we have output Q0.0. Okay, now that's not Q0.0, sorry for that, it's output here. We have defined ins and outs there. Actually, when we will use that FB there, we will define the addresses. Okay, so save that out, yes, and close that. Go back to OB to call it. So we are now in OB and we have to call that function block that we have created right now. So you see something is coming up here. That was not there in the case of FC at that time. We didn't see that, right? So we have to define here DB. So that's what I was saying to you, that we need to have a data block for when we are creating DBs, FBs, we need to have a data block for that. So here we have to name it DB2. It will say the instance data block if DB2 doesn't exist. Do you want to generate? Yes, I want it. And then after that you have to kind of make I0.0. Sorry, we can make it I0.2 because we have utilized that before, so just make a difference. I0.3, I0.3, it's T0.3, what's going on? I0.3, and then we have Q0.3. That's done, right? So next step is to download that program. we have to go this OB1, select that. You see, now we have already created DB here. So let's open it up, see what's inside. So it should contain all inputs and outputs, what we discussed in theory, right? So let's see how it's gonna be inside that DB. What is gonna be there? Inputs and outputs that we have just defined for our operation. So you can see here we have in1, in2, and out. So we have both inputs and we have two inputs and one output here. Okay, so that's pretty much clear. So it's have a data block that contains all inputs and outputs in FB, and that was not the case in FC. You remember that. So now we have to download OB1, FB1, along with it DB2 to the simulator. Here we go. All. Because if you will not download these three components, this program is not going to work. Okay. After that, we will just download it from here also. This one. And then we can run it from here. Turn on the watch. And just see the magic now. Okay. If we have in1, it's I0.2 in1, you can see it. We got an output, right? Because for our operation, if any one of that input is high, we will get an output. Let's give it I0.3 here. So if I press I0.3 or I0.2, it is going to turn on. I0.2 here is in1, and I0.3 here is in2. So that's pretty much it about function blocks and function codes. You have clearly understand it is actually giving us opportunity where we are utilizing our code. Like we have like for motors we have, well, you can say at least 10 to 20 networks there depending on how big is the motor. So instead of putting all in OB1, because normally we are up to now we were programming OB1, so we cannot put whole plant in OB1, right? We have multiple areas, multiple processes, multiple machines running in there, multiple you can say control loops to be executed in there. So based on our need, what we are going to choose here, we have to choose, selecting FBs. We will create FBs for motors, valves, and like we have control, for example, for certain application like boilers. So we will make different control loops in FBs and FCs to make our program very much clear. In next session, we will talk about a function block of scaling function. Last time we just use it at the existing function block in library. Now let's think we don't have that. How we can actually make that scaling function by using a formula and by making a function through FB or FC. So we're going to utilize in next session. A lot of things are coming up in upcoming sessions. All you have to do is stay connected with IT and Automation Academy's YouTube channel. And if you want to learn Urdu language or Hindi language, we have another channel. Link of that channel is in the description of this video. That's Learn Automation with Noman. Don't forget to subscribe because we have to give a lot of attention to that channel also. A lot of things are coming up. Need your support here to reach the everybody in the entire world who's looking for the right skills. He's not able to find that. And with that message, like wherever you are, stay happy and take care of your loved ones. Assalamu alaikum.